Hello. Imagine you are expected, as part of your duty, to shake hands with someone you believe may have been involved in the murder of a member of your own family. That was the extraordinary situation faced by the late Queen Elizabeth II when she met Martin McGuinness, said to be a former IRA commander turned Sinn Féin politician. For many, it was a historic and healing moment in the Northern Ireland process. Yet the shadow of Lord Mountbatten's assassination in 1979, her cousin, hung in the background. The suspicion, widely held, was that McGuinness may have authorised the attack. If Her Majesty believed that to be true, it would have been entirely human, entirely understandable, if she had felt anger or resentment. And yet she extended her hand, not just a gesture of diplomacy, but arguably of deep moral courage. Lord Mountbatten's grandson was himself a survivor of the bomb. He later wrote in the Sunday Telegraph newspaper that McGuinness and his colleagues deserve enormous credit for becoming a modernising force for good. We often find it easier to forgive if genuine remorse is offered. Yet how often does that actually happen? In everyday life, most of us have known irritation when someone cuts us up on the road or speaks sharply for no reason. And far too often there is no apology, no recognition of harm. Martin McGuinness made no apology. Some of us may be temporarily inclined towards forgiveness, blessed perhaps with a greater natural empathy, but for many it is hard to forgive those who show no remorse, who offer no apology, and who see no need to make amends. This is particularly true in contexts of pride, of power, of tribal loyalty, whether among gangs, political factions, or bitterly divided communities. And when resentment festers, whether it simmers quietly or boils over, it corrodes the soul. It's striking that people prone to hostility are often the ones most consumed by resentment, thinking about and even fantasizing revenge. Surveys suggest that while many people wish they could be more forgiving, they don't always know how. So what is forgiveness? It's not about excusing wrongdoing or pretending nothing happened. Rather, it's a conscious decision to replace ill will with good will, to relinquish the emotional debt we feel someone owes us. In relationships, marriages, families, friendships, this choice can be pivotal. When couples become trapped in cycles of mutual tit for tat, forgiveness may be the only thing that prevents collapse. When offered and accepted, it brings not just healing but hope. There are real benefits to forgiveness. Studies show it can reduce depression, anxiety and stress. It opens the heart to joy, to love, to beauty, and perhaps more importantly, it releases us from the prison of our own resentment. Still, the challenge remains greatest when sacred values are violated, when someone desecrates what we hold dear or takes what we cannot recover. The great religious traditions do not take this lightly, but nor do they leave us without guidance, whatever their followers sometimes do. In Islam, forgiveness is closely linked to divine mercy. The Quran repeatedly urges pardon and forbearance, suggesting that God's forgiveness towards us is encouraged when we forgive others. The Christian tradition too emphasizes this. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. It's a moral symmetry, but also a spiritual invitation. To be forgiven, we must forgive. The 18th century Christian philosopher Emanuel Swedenborg makes a profound distinction between those who delight in condemnation and those who seek the good in others. From his perspective, to keep wanting revenge is to align oneself with a spirit of selfishness. But to forgive, to see others through the eyes of mercy, is to live in harmony with the divine spirit. For Swedenborg, true kindness is not blind. It may involve gentle correction, truth told in love, but it is never driven by the need to punish or dominate. Forgiveness, then, is not passivity, it is active goodness, a steady refusal to let bitterness take root. The New Testament directly teaches us to love our enemies and to forgive, not just for the sake of external harmony, but as an essential part of our spiritual life. And so, how might we become more forgiving? Here are 7 ways to forgive if there's no apology. 1. We might begin by being honest with ourselves, naming our hurt, and understanding why we still carry it. Think about the power over you that you are giving someone by attending to the hurt they have caused you. A second way forward is to remember that our main feeling of distress is coming from what we are thinking and feeling now, rather than what the person did some little while ago to offend or hurt us. We might then choose deliberately to let it go, simply for our own peace of mind. Number 3. Remember, we are not in a position to judge someone as deserving of condemnation, for we may not know all the mitigating circumstances that provided the context of their actions towards us. For example, we may not be fully aware of what is going on in their life to create stress, or their upbringing with its own standards of conduct and moral values. We can try to accept that people act from their own experiences, their own wounds, that their wrongdoing may say more about their suffering than our worth. Number 4. Remember that we ourselves are not blameless in life. We too sometimes do something wrong. Consider the Christian prayer. Forgive us the wrongs we have done as we forgive the wrongs that others have done us. How can we feel forgiveness unless we are also willing to forgive? Number 5. What's number 5? Well, this is it. Consider what worldly or selfish desires in you that have been thwarted by the other person, and just reconsider their importance. Pride been wounded? Well, what's so bad about a little humility? Time wasted by someone? Never mind. There is plenty of time left in life to make up what was lost. Number 6. Sometimes forgiveness may mean parting ways. It is not an obligation to remain in harm's way, nor to excuse ongoing abuse. But even then, the spirit of forgiveness, the letting go of vengeance, remain a gift we can give ourselves. Finally, number 7. Doing well to others and forgetting their wrongdoing may not always be wise if their behaviour is harmful and persists. Violence within the home and sexual infidelity are two more serious examples. In extreme cases, sometimes it is better to part with someone who is persistently abusive. Consider receiving professional counselling if the decision is very difficult. So, I've suggested 7 ways to forgive if there's no apology. As Swedenborg reminds us, angelic people make allowances for others. They look for the good in them, and in so doing, they dwell in light, not shadow. This is loving the enemy, as Christ instructed his followers to do. Forgiving without anger. Perhaps if we spend more time seeking the good in others, we may find resentment has little room to take hold. Thanks for listening to me. If you've liked this video, you may be interested in finding a better life by clicking the link to Why We Are Not Our Thoughts.